You switched.
Nice. We're starting to work together. It only took about 8 months, but we got this. Alright, so it's a fresh best of 3, guys, and today's qualifiers are pretty much the last, I think, super duper, like, region-restricted qualifiers. The ladder wildcard qualifier that comes up next is a bit of a different set of rules. One of the key ones, though, is that you have to have had 200 games played in either this season, which is almost impossible, or last season. There is no combination of the seasons like there was in Season 1. In Season 1 of WCS, there was a little bit of confusion, there was a little bit of anarchy, people couldn't quite figure out what was what. So the ladder wildcard qualifier, say that 5 times fast, ended up being a bit of an issue, so they combined both seasons, but now the rule is one season or the other. And actually, when we cast the WCS America qualifiers, specifically the ladder wildcard one, we saw some really good players cut because they didn't have 200 games won from the previous season on one account. They've played on a barcode, they played on all these other accounts, so hopefully anyone looking to compete tomorrow has managed to take care of this and not flubbed that up, because those rules have been available since Season 1 and it hasn't really changed.
Yep. I mean, so far I haven't heard any issues. Of course, ESL's taking care of this challenger, so...
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, we kind of about it. Maybe some of the community does as well, but you guys really don't understand how significant... how significant it is to have a really well-run qualifier compared to a really poorly run qualifier, especially from our end as well. Casting it becomes very obvious whether things are in disarray or not, because you're either waiting for a game for 5 hours or you're ready to jump into the next one. And for the last 2 weeks that we've been casting the qualifiers, well, I should say this week and last week, we haven't had any issues where we found ourselves awkwardly waiting for like 7 hours, waiting to even hear if players are playing or not. So big props to ESL for handling it well this season, across all regions no less.
With only one admin.
Well, I don't know how many admins are in the EU one, but yeah, Farside single-handedly did it for the American ones. The ESL's a big organization, though. They have got a lot of staff across various different facets of it.
Yeah. Well, this Reaper from Gillon isn't going to get much done. Unfortunately, the new maps really aren't too Reaper-friendly. You know, they can still get up here. There's only 2 Marines. He's just choosing not to. Yeah?
I guess he could hop through the top part. He could run around if he really wants to. He's waiting for that second Reaper.
Yeah, he is.
So
he did already see what's going on.
There's 4 Marines though. If he stays for too long,
he would have to get up and kite, and that's it's too dangerous to try. It was a 50-50 chance. There's two places you jump up here, and you picked the wrong one. But he got the scout, the important scout. He would love to see if a starport actually goes down, or if the factory switches on to the racks like we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key things would have been seeing whether a second gas was ever taken, but when you see a command center coming down this early, you can predict what the build's going to be like, because that's a lot of minerals you have to denote to that one building.
Yeah, the real question, seriously, is just, is he going for Banshees, or is he going to get a Viking and a Raven, and then Banshees maybe, even? That's literally the only question, because he's doing the exact same build, so they both really know what each other's doing, or I guess the Muslim doesn't, but lucky for him, Gillon isn't doing anything too surprising.
Well, that's kind of the thing about TVT too. There are some builds you kind of need to scout, but for the most part, it's all predictable. We mentioned it before, Banshees, they're kind of the go-to at some point. Whether you go Raven first into a Viking and then into Banshees, or whether you go straight to Banshees. But the Muslim's going to go for the one thing that we've talked about happening a lot lately, and I wouldn't call it a build order win by any means, but this medevac push is incredibly deadly, and it's been winning a lot of TVTs really fast. Because this isn't, I wouldn't say it's a direct counter, but it's a really hard thing to hold off. Because the Banshee, oh, he's not even going for a Banshee first. Gillon's going to go for a Raven first. Makes this even a little bit more dangerous, because these Marines are not going to be dealt with easily, and the Hellions should be able to cancel out the lower amount of Hellions Gillon currently has. Early on, if you're going to go mech, yeah, you'll have a lot of Hellions, but those don't come into play until a little bit later.
Unfortunately, we really can't call anything yet. We have to see exactly how Gillon decides to handle this, and we'll see within probably 2 seconds of the drop actually being initiated whether or not he's going to take massive damage. So far, good job, good idea here. You know, making sure the Hellions get as sure as possible, but
spreading out the Marines as he drops is really important out to Muslim too. This isn't because he's like in a hasty move. He needs to keep these spread out from those other Hellions. SCV's pulled into this as well as an auto turret, but looks like Gillon's going to lose the start of this fight. The auto turret was actually a really nice move, but as pointed out before, Marines with the medevac are so powerful. And this really feels like this is where the meta's shifted for this matchup. Like, these medevac Marine drops, we haven't seen these in a long time, but they've come back into fashion in a big way. Hellions will eventually deal with them if done correctly, but not if they run in one at a time like that.
It's not like the Muslim is sacrificing a lot to do this. He's still producing 2 SCVs. Gillon is no longer. He's not producing any SCVs. The Muslim, afraid of a Banshee follow-up, getting a bunch of missile turrets.
I like that though, because that's kind of the response, right? Like, you get stuck on one base as a Terran player, what do? You kind of have to go for some sort of response. Blue Flame is going to be the choice though, not tanks and not Banshees. Kind of a cute move.
It's interesting to go for that first. You can, if you assume it's going to be Hellion versus Hellion Wars, a Blue Flame upgrade like snuck in there can be really, really powerful, but it's not. The Muslim is in fact going for bio.
The Blue Flame actually, you know what, this choice actually isn't that bad, I think, because even if it's not Hellion versus Hellion, like, he knows Marines will be in play.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be able to bust. He should be able to bust down right now, but definitely with the Blue Flame.
it's just gonna wait for it to finish, I guess. Yeah, there we go. It actually moves down the ramp. So Demuslim picks up, he gets out of there, but he's taking a third while this has been going on, and that sort of soft contain that he just performed on Gillon is not gonna exactly pay off right away, but in Terran versus Terran, in the long run, you'll start seeing those effects pay in probably in about 5 minutes. Because again, a third command center is nice, but it's more about the orbital and the extra mule it provides than anything else.
Look at the SCV count. 51 to 31.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 51 off of 2 bases is kind of, you know, nice, but you always want to get that transfer up ASAP.
Well, getting that third of the place, he actually will almost perfectly line up.
It's so weird too, like the fact that he's able to build this on location. I don't know a lot of TVTs where I sit there confidently going like, yes, let's build this on location. Like whether it's the pros or whether it's my own terrible ladder experiences. We have a one of mine that might not be in range of the Viking, just barely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of Hellions moving out. And Demuslim has no bunkers down.
He did see it. Best thing he can do is try and spread, wait for more units. Hope they don't attack soon.
Stemming's gonna hurt too, because those Hellions deal so much damage with that Blue Flame. 19 a shot.
Ooh. +1's also about to finish. That could help out. He's gonna go for the SCVs that are transferring, and the Muslim just pulls. Yeah, he's like, I can't hold that, not yet.
I think this is really smart though, because fighting on top of the ramp, fighting like making it so that the Hellions on a free surface area is probably the best bet. Let's be honest.
Oh, he did it!
Saves him!
Yes!
He puts him into the command center! That is the first time I've seen someone do that.
I've always been hoping that someone would do it.
But he's still gonna save it! The Vikings!
Oh, he should be able to save it. I mean, that's gonna take a long time to burn down. But it's so rare that the orbital isn't finished, the PF isn't finished, that you're gonna actually do this. Ah, I'm so sick. Okay, so the Muslim waited a long time to get more units. So he's able to hold. He shouldn't push out quite yet. That's why he's not. If anything, you'd want to wait till Blue Flame.
I'm kind of curious that he landed the Vikings, but these would be great. They got that armor buffer versus the Hellions, but you know, with Blue Flame, you're not supposed to sit and fight. It's a hit and run type move. The cooldown on the flame is way too long. GG is called Demuslim. We'll take game number 1.
Yes.
Man, I don't know, like, that first attack on the Muslim was really cool. But Gillon, man, you can't just sit with Hellions.
He was probably thinking if he couldn't break him, then he wasn't going to win.